The story starts in Japan, 1970, showing a very destroyed city landscape, probably Tokyo. The scene shows the destruction continuing in Tokyo with a strong, ominous feeling. Some fighters in uniform are trying to cast magic circles, but one of them yells out a warning about fire. A huge explosion of fire and light erupts, showing intense magical power being unleashed. The aftermath of the blast shows a lot of fire and smoke covering the area. A terrifying, huge monster with glowing eyes and a jewel on its chest appears, looking enraged. Someone below whispers in shock, "And no way." The fighters look completely defeated, with one stating that the attack did not even leave a scratch on the monster. Down below, huge smoke plumes rise against the sky. The massive monster stands tall, towering over the city, as someone expresses that they are totally doomed. A character with a sinister look on his face seems to be preparing for something big. The monster glows intensely with orange and yellow energy, possibly powering up for another attack. Another massive impact or explosion happens right in the center of the frame, full of bright light and energy. As the light fades, the fighters are seen bracing themselves, clenching their fists in determination or defense. A close-up on the determined, yet fearful faces of the fighters shows the pressure they are under. Suddenly, a man with white hair and glowing purple aura appears, raising his hand calmly. Someone among the fighters gasps, realizing who the newcomer might be. The group of fighters looks on in awe as the white-haired man says, "You've done well." The white-haired man smiles confidently, looking back at them. Another person lets out a loud sob. The fighters are emotionally overwhelmed, some crying while others look serious, as the white-haired man shouts that he is calling for a general retreat. He tells everyone to leave everything to him while another person shouts for a retreat. One soldier yells at another, calling him a dumbass for questioning the retreat, asking if they don't know who the man is. The first soldier explains that the white-haired man is the founder of magic and the strongest mage. Another soldier confirms this, shouting excitedly, "That man's the famous Ikikami Atsumu?" Followed by another person happily agreeing, "That's right." They confirm that he is the person standing there, and then the title card for the manhwa appears, Magic Level 99,990,000 All Attribute Great Sage. The scene changes, showing smoke clouds against a darkening, reddish sky, setting the mood for a serious confrontation. Ikikami Atsumu stands with a powerful presence, surrounded by intense reddish-pink energy, ready for battle. The background shows several monstrous figures appearing in the red, fiery setting, with loud sound effects indicating their presence. Ikikami Atsumu stands facing the monsters, the environment glowing with embers and dark energy around him. The main monster attacks, but Ikikami Atsumu easily dodges it, saying, "Too slow." Ikikami Atsumu is surrounded by intense orange flames while channeling strong purple magic energy from his body. He focuses a massive amount of purple energy in his outstretched hand, looking ready to strike. The energy release is accompanied by powerful impact sound effects, showing a massive force being unleashed. The purple magical energy seems to envelop the area, with energy streaks flying around, suggesting a devastating attack. The powerful monster is engulfed by the immense energy, as the white-haired mage seems to be channeling more power from above. Ikikami Atsumu smiles slightly and challenges the enemy, telling them, "Come at me." Below, there are explosive sound effects from the clash. In a wide shot, Ikikami Atsumu is seen standing firm against multiple surrounding monsters, all glowing under a powerful magical aura. The narration goes back in time, explaining that one day, monsters suddenly started appearing all over the world. This time period was known as the Calamity, showing the monsters terrorizing people in a city setting. The narration explains that regular weapons were completely useless against these monsters, as soldiers are shown firing ineffective shots at a large monster. However, humanity started to look at magic as the only solution, and people are shown actively casting magic spells. Magic soon became the only way to fight the monsters, and the battle continued for over a decade, with powerful magic being used against giant beasts. Mages are shown combining their powers to fight a massive monster in the midst of the conflict. The narration snaps back to the present time, focusing on Ikikami Atsumu standing in a reddish, smoky field. The text explains that for the first and most powerful mage, there was only one person who could save the world. Ikikami Atsumu stands alone amidst a fiery circle, seemingly facing the ultimate threat, as the narration states there was nobody else to save the world. He looks thoughtful as the narration asks the reader why this is the case, setting up the explanation of his power. The ultimate monster, described as a demon god, appears, radiating immense heat and power. Someone observing the scene gasps, realizing the opponent is a demon god. The observer is shocked, noting that this is the top-ranked monster, the boss of the calamity. The sheer magic power and pressure coming from the boss are overwhelming, as indicated by the surrounding effects. The massive demon god looms large, radiating intense energy, making everyone feel the pressure. Even though the enemy monster seems heavily wounded, the observer is shocked because the boss is instantly using high-level magic. The demon god seems unfazed, and the enemy is surprised that after being severely injured, it's still moving and using magic. Intense action lines suggest a fast and powerful blow is being struck against the enemy. The attack seems to be a straight, powerful strike, hitting with great force. A small figure is seen recoiling or being thrown back by the massive force of the attack. The narration points out that the enemy is using 14th level magic right from the start. Ikegami Atsumu, looking determined, admits that he is using his full power from the very beginning. An intricate and powerful magic circle forms, pulsing with bright pink energy, indicating a major spell being cast. The energy from the spell swirls upwards with incredible force, emphasizing the complexity and power of the magic. The compound magic seems to involve multiple elements, creating a complex, swirling vortex of light and energy. The character, now looking determined, is asked about using a 6-element compound magic, hinting at its rarity and power. Green, leafy magic energy is shown, suggesting the involvement of nature elements in the compound spell. The powerful magic tears through the environment, with vines and structures breaking apart under the intense energy. More intense impact sound effects show the forces colliding violently. The clash of magical energy is shown as a blinding light where the opponent is located, with the mage seemingly being overwhelmed momentarily. Ikegami Atsumu is straining under the force, gritting his teeth and letting out a grunt of effort. The energy discharge continues to be immense, crackling with different colors, signifying the massive magical output. Despite the strain, Ikegami Atsumu's gaze sharpens as he maintains his stance amidst the powerful energy. A bright, almost divine light, possibly from another magical entity or the peak of the combined spell, erupts. The scene ends with a huge fiery explosion, similar to the earlier ones, suggesting the culmination of the attack. The view shifts to a dark, fiery ground with the mage a small silhouette against the destruction, indicating a vast battleground. The demon god entity is seen falling from a great height, surrounded by thunderous red energy and debris. Ikegami Atsumu is knocked back forcefully by an unseen impact, indicated by the sweeping motion lines. He lands hard, seemingly injured, with a small cut visible on his face, showing the toll the fight has taken. A dark red, destructive energy seems to be rising from the ground, enveloping the area around the fallen mage. The demon god, with a serene face floating above a monstrous body, is seen as Ikegami Atsumu realizes how strong this ultimate monster is. Looking up with visible strain and glowing eyes, Ikegami Atsumu acknowledges the immense power of the demon god. He realizes with despair that at this rate, there is no way he can win the fight. The demon god entity is shown suspended, serene, while Ikegami Atsumu seems to resign himself to his fate, thinking he has no other choice. Accepting the situation, the mage begins channeling a massive amount of blue, lightning-like energy from below him. Ikegami Atsumu stands enveloped in bright, electric blue energy, his aura significantly different now, emanating immense, focused power. The blue energy clashes violently against the remaining reddish-orange energy of the enemy in a bright burst of light. The narrator explains that magic power is judged by its rank, and the number of magic circles determines that rank. A single hand is shown drawing a glowing blue circle. More and more glowing blue magic circles form around the mage as the explanation continues that the number of circles sets the rank, and Ikegami Atsumu is surrounded by them. Many circles surrounding him. The narrator states that the highest rank a demon god can achieve is the 14th rank. The focus is on the intricate detail of a massive blue magic circle, which is clearly far more complex than the previous ones. The mage declares with intensity that his limit, the level he is about to reach, is the 15th rank. A close-up on Ikegami Atsumu's face shows his eyes blazing with blue energy as he pushes past his known limits. The immense power surge sends shockwaves, and a structure in the background appears to shatter as the 15th rank magic, called Innocent Void, is deployed. The blue, almost divine light of the 15th rank magic completely washes out the scene, suggesting absolute power. The blue light continues to brighten, revealing structures that look like floating islands or parts of a collapsing realm. The demon god entity is seen being completely enveloped and overwhelmed by this bright blue magical wave. The scene fades into pure, bright blue and white, symbolizing the end of the cataclysmic fight. The light slowly transitions from bright blue to a gentle, sunny blue, indicating a return to normalcy or a different setting. The scenery is now a bright, clear day over a cracked, desolate earth, with distant city outlines visible. The remains of the demon god, now small and sparkling with colorful energy, are being consumed by this bright light on the barren ground. The shattered remains of the monster's horns are visible against the bright sky as the mage seems to have triumphed. Lying on the ground, Ikigami Atsumu thinks that he has defeated the boss and the calamity can finally end. However, he then realizes with dismay, "But I used up." He accepts his fate, thinking, dying as a great sage it's not a bad way to go out. Lying back, looking up at the bright sky, he peacefully concludes, "I live day." His vision fades into a bright white light, with just ellipses indicating his consciousness is fading. The mage's small figure lies on the ground in a vast, bright expanse under a brilliant sky, seemingly at peace after death. Suddenly, a warm, yellow-orange light flares near his body, accompanied by sound effects suggesting a strange revival or event. A golden, almost ghost-like shape emerges from his body, radiating intense warmth. Golden essence hovers near his still form, while below, a dark effect suggests a separation or transition. A strong wave of golden energy surges upward, passing over the fallen mage. The energy wave rushes past a modern building structure, indicating a jump in location or time. The scene shifts to sharp, dark speed lines, suggesting a sudden, forceful movement or a return. The view changes to a boy lying in a hospital bed with a small burst of yellow flame appearing near his chest. The fire dissipates quickly near the boy in the hospital gown, with sound effects indicating a small, contained event. The boy jolts awake in bed with a bright light emanating from his chest area. The camera focuses on the boy, who has bandages on his neck and cheek, confirming he is in a hospital. He puts his hand on his chest in confusion. The boy sits up abruptly, shocked, exclaiming, "I'm alive." He touches his bandages, bewildered, questioning how he could be alive even after using all his magic, wondering, "What the hell is this?" He looks around the room confusedly, murmuring HM, as an image of a hospital bed nameplate is shown. He looks down at his hands, still in disbelief, thinking, "And no way it can't be possible." The boy looks up with wide, shocked eyes, screaming, "WH, who the hell is this?" Someone unseen places a hand on the back of his neck, causing the boy to react with alarm. The hand is resting near the head of the hospital bed, right above a nameplate that reads Kusanagi Minato. A person in a hospital gown is being addressed by a doctor and a nurse who are shocked to see him awake. The doctor and nurse look on as the patient, who has bandages on his face, sits up. The doctor and nurse express disbelief at the patient's sudden recovery. The patient hears that he lost consciousness and was in critical condition due to a traffic accident, but is now completely healed. The patient explains that his body automatically heals with holy magic, which surprises the medical staff. He then asks about the traffic accident and wonders if his magic power was depleted. When the staff looks confused about magic power, he clarifies that he was fighting monsters during a calamity. The doctor asks for his name in the current year to check on his memory. The man says his name is Ikigami Minato and believes the year is 1970. The staff then questions if this is a sequel effect and they conclude he seems to be suffering from memory impairment. The doctor corrects him, stating his name is Kusanagi Minato and the current year is 2022. Kusanagi Minato is shocked to hear he is Kusanagi Minato and that the year is 2022. He sees a modern device and confirms the date on a calendar is indeed 2022, realizing the medical staff are telling the truth. He notices a thin device with a clear image which seems new to him. Confirming the year is 2022, he then wonders about the small, unfamiliar device in the nurse's hand. He wonders if he has truly traveled to the future, looking stunned. The doctor tells him the calamity he mentioned happened 50 years ago and has not returned since. Kusanagi Minato is surprised the calamity has stopped, and the doctor assures him that while monsters still exist, the world is very peaceful now. He is relieved to hear the world has achieved peace, thinking thank goodness. Then the doctor reveals the truth. Ikigami Minato died 50 years ago, sacrificing himself to save the world. A flashback shows Ikigami Minato facing a massive, powerful entity, casting intense magic. The doctor explains that since Ikigami Minato died, the person in front of him is not him. Kusanagi Minato recalls his death in that fight. He remembers reincarnating into Kusanagi Minato, but questions how and why this happened. After some weeks pass, the scene shifts to a bright sky. The story moves to a modern apartment building, and someone is seen entering a room. The reincarnated man looks around the room, recognizing it as Kusanagi Minato's room. He reads a document and learns that Kusanagi Minato's parents died when he was a child. The document further explains that the boy was kicked out by his foster parents and sent to a boarding school, surviving on his inheritance. Lying on the bed, he ponders the concept, thinking there is no such thing as reincarnation magic. He wonders if his reincarnation was a work of God or just pure chance. Looking at a modern ID card, he sees the ID card states he is a student at Kanui Magic Academy and thinks about how different things are now, as academies like this didn't exist in his time. He smiles, finding the situation of going to school as an adult quite exciting. As he gets ready, he hears a sound and checks his bag, confused. His phone is ringing with a call from someone named Tadano-kun, making him wonder who that is and what he should do. After a moment of hesitation, he decides he doesn't care and gets up. He carelessly tosses the phone, which lands on the table, declining the call. A message pops up immediately, telling him he's been discharged and needs to come to school because the sender doesn't have enough money. The scene changes to a bright, sunny day outside. He arrives at the Grand Kanui Magic Academy, observing the fancy building and other students. Walking in, he thinks about how exciting it is to be going to school as an adult. He feels a thrill, but then he remembers the message and the reality of his situation. He sees another student intensely practicing magic, creating a powerful fire circle. The student successfully hits the practice targets, shocking our protagonist who is watching from the ground. He wonders what kind of magic that was and is shocked by the power level he is witnessing. He is confused about the term magic power, seeing other students around. He reacts strongly, thinking the magic levels are incredibly weak compared to his time, feeling frustrated. He can't believe how weak the magic is, thinking it's only a tenth of the power they used to have. He questions if these students can even succeed as magicians, while some students notice him. He mutters about the students being drunk on peace and how magic has declined so much. He finds his classroom, labeled 2A, and enters. He steps into the classroom, noticing the familiar setup, and feels excited, like being in a class from the past. He wonders if Kusanagi Minato had any friends here when suddenly a loud noise startles him as someone looms over him. The red-haired student yells at him for ignoring his text message, calling him Kusanagi. Kusanagi Minato pretends not to remember him, asking who he is. The red-haired bully gets enraged and physically attacks him, kicking him. The bully yells at him for forgetting him and calls him a powerless piece of trash. Kusanagi Minato suddenly pretends to remember the bully as Tadano-kun. He even holds up his phone, pretending the caller was Tadano-kun, and the bully seems momentarily pleased. The red-haired bully then twists the situation, asking if Kusanagi knows what being a friend means. Kusanagi Minato enthusiastically agrees to get along, which immediately makes the bully angry again. The bully yells for money, demanding he hand it over. The bully points out that Kusanagi has his parents' inheritance, and Kusanagi internally acknowledges that Kusanagi Minato was being bullied for money. The bully gets even angrier when Kusanagi seems unimpressed and prepares to punch him. Just then, a cheerful blue-haired girl enters the classroom, saying good morning. She is shown in a bright, sparkling frame, looking very happy and lovely in her uniform. The focus lingers on her bright appearance and the badge on her uniform. The red-haired bully seems momentarily stunned by her presence, but quickly gets back to hassling Kusanagi Minato. The bully leans in close, pointing at Kusanagi's chest, warning him not to forget, before turning away as the girl watches. Kusanagi Minato just sighs, while the teacher announces the end of class and mentions tomorrow's magic power assessments. The teacher writes on the chalkboard about the great calamity and how great sage Ikekami Minato sacrificed himself in 1970 to end it. The teacher continues explaining that monsters appeared everywhere, causing despair, but Ikekami Minato fought back. The teacher describes the immense power Ikekami Minato used to fight the monsters and the final boss, the demon god. The flashback shows Ikekami Minato defeating the demon god at the cost of his life. The teacher concludes that since then, the calamity never returned, and then asks who Ikekami Minato was. The blue-haired girl, Mizuha, eagerly raises her hand to answer the question. Mizuha correctly answers that he was the only survivor of the first calamity and the first magician. She continues, saying he was the hero of the world and the idol of every magician. Teacher confirms she is right, adding that the academy was built to create more magicians like him, and states he is the greatest magician in history. The teacher announces this will be on the test, but Kusanagi Minato internally screams no repeatedly, finding this torture. He finds the entire experience extremely embarrassing and wishes he hadn't come to school. He recalls the doctor saying the world is at peace, and wonders if that's why magicians have become weak. Looking around the peaceful classroom, he contemplates the situation. The Japanese school bell rings, signaling the end of the class session. The teacher tells them the magic power assessments are tomorrow and dismisses the class. The red-haired bully taunts Kusanagi Minato about his parents having no magic power either. The bully mockingly says Kusanagi must be an orphan bastard and laughs loudly with his friends. As Kusanagi Minato walks away, the bully insults him again, calling him a fucktard. The bully yells at him to get off his high horse. Suddenly, a massive dark shadow appears above the bully, emanating an intense fiery aura. The bully and his friends are engulfed in a massive explosion of orange and red energy. Mizuha and another girl look on in shock, asking if he is really going to use magic in the classroom. The red-haired bully shouts a curse as he launches a powerful, fire-based attack. Kusanagi Minato stands calmly amidst the intense fire, observing the attack. The fire attack rages, showing Kusanagi Minato standing composed as the massive destruction happens around him. The other students are clearly terrified by the immense power displayed. The bully's attack resolves into a towering pillar of flame, while Kusanagi Minato remains unfazed. The ground cracks, and the intense heat fills the scene as the attack concludes. The powerful magic attack explodes with a bright, fiery light, making the surrounding students shield their faces in shock. One of the students, with blue hair, looks horrified and shouts that one cannot use magic over mere squabbles. She yells out loud that someone is going to get hurt now. The red-haired student who started the fight points and shouts that the other person was trying to fight him, and it was not his fault. After the clash, smoke starts filling the area, showing the mess left behind, including a desk tossed aside. The smoke heaps swirling around as the immediate danger seems to have passed, leaving behind a hazy scene. Some students are seen standing up after the chaos, while the smoke still covers the ground. A student with dark hair stands calm amidst the chaos, drawing the attention of everyone watching. The calm student stands tall while the blue-haired girl looks up at him in fear or awe. The dark-haired student simply states, "You got me," looking composed. This is the title page for Chapter 2 of the story. The red-haired student and another boy express their shock, one shouting that the main person is completely fine after taking their magic head-on. Calm student looks down, thinking that if it was just level 1 magic, his magical barrier could defend it without him actively using magic. He confirms to himself that he does not need to use magic actively for such a weak attack. Turning his back on the smaller boys, the main character thinks that he tolerated them because they were just children. However, now he decides that they need to be punished for their actions. As the main character stands sternly, a powerful, dark purple energy starts to surround him, making a strange sound. The other students look on with fear as this intense, dark purple magic flares up around the main character. The main character stands completely enveloped in a powerful, electric purple aura, looking very serious. The powerful aura washes over the other students as they are frozen in place, unable to move. The blue-haired girl realizes she cannot move at all due to the overwhelming magical pressure. Other students are terrified, asking what is happening and what kind of magic this is. The blue-haired girl looks up, completely shocked by the incredible power being displayed. The main character calmly walks forward, surrounded by a massive blue-purple electrical field, seemingly unaffected by his own display of power. The red-haired boy watches the dark-haired boy walk toward him, still glowing with intense magical energy. The dark-haired student reaches out a hand slightly toward the red-haired boy. The red-haired student is terrified by the immense pressure coming from the dark-haired boy. A teacher or authority figure bursts in, asking what that sound was and shouting if someone is using magic here. The teacher demands to know what is going on, but the dark-haired student calmly tells him nothing happened in the classroom. The dark-haired student looks away thoughtfully for a moment. He smiles brightly and suggests maybe someone was using magic outside the classroom. The teacher is told there is no magic club activity happening outside, so the student suggests it must be some outsider student using magic freely. The student continues, saying that magicians are always keen on using their magic, and then asks about the smoke that came from outside. The teacher acknowledges the information, saying if Kusanagi says it, it must be true, and then declares he is going to find the person responsible. The teacher tells everyone else to go back to their seats, while the dark-haired student apologizes for the trouble. The student then thinks to himself that maybe he should create some false evidence to close this case quickly. The blue-haired girl looks utterly confused and concerned by the turn of events. The red-haired bully, furious, mutters, "Damn you, Kusanagi. as the dark-haired boy walks away from him. The dark-haired student reflects that even if those students are just beginners, their magic level is way too low. He wonders if they could even defeat a monster, concluding that even without a major calamity, there must be monsters around that need dealing with. He decides he should go check out the situation outside. The scene shifts, showing some blank panels before the next location is established. The scene changes to a dark, ruined area, labeled as Old Shibuya, showing destroyed buildings under a night sky. A mysterious figure, hooded and masked, speeds across the night sky on a glowing, magical platform near a huge full moon. A close-up shows the glowing effect under the figure's sneakers as they move fast. The hooded figure lands on a ledge and observes the surroundings, noting that Shibuya has changed a lot, but he doesn't sense any monsters nearby yet. He stands on a cracked piece of concrete, surveying the damaged city. The figure seems to prepare for action, with bright green magic circles forming under their feet. More intense action sounds indicate a sudden move or impact. The hooded figure moves with incredible speed, surrounded by glowing green energy from the magic circle. The figure thinks that he doesn't sense any monsters around, but everything looks ruined. Though it seems the police managed to clear out most of the obvious danger. He pauses his thought, then realizes he can sense a monster's aura coming from very far away, and also notices another human nearby. The figure senses the location of the lone human. He moves quickly toward the location, indicated by intense speed lines and sound effects. A massive, powerful green energy blast seems to erupt as he approaches the source of the danger. The green magic impact creates a large area of effect on the ground where the figure is landing. A loud red sound effect suggests a sudden, violent confrontation. A monstrous, white-skulled creature with multiple red eyes screams "No!" and tells someone to get away from it. A police officer is seen lying on the ground, terrified of the monster attacking. The monster roars loudly as it attacks the area where the police officer is. The hooded figure lands a powerful blow with green and blue energy, moving right toward the monster. A massive red impact effect highlights the severity of the clash between the figure and the monster. The monster's face and giant claws are shown up close as it is being struck. A huge red sound effect dominates the panel, emphasizing the force of the attack. The monster roars again as it is being defeated by the overwhelming attack coming from the dark-clothed figure. The hooded figure unleashes a massive wave of golden-orange energy toward the monster, standing ready. A loud blue sound effect suggests the immediate aftermath of the powerful strike. The hooded figure stands victorious over the defeated monsters, with a terrified police officer looking up at him. A close-up shows the intense, focused eye of the hooded figure. The police officer looks up at the figure with wide, shocked eyes, clearly in awe or relief. The officer notices the badge on his own uniform and wonders if the person who saved him was a police magician. The hooded figure turns to leave, telling the officer to be careful next time. The police officer stammers out a thank you as the hooded figure prepares to leave using his glowing magic circle again. The officer manages to say thank you very much as he watches the mysterious savior disappear into the night. He wonders who that powerful person was. The officer reflects that the savior seemed like a great magician, but then realizes they didn't even chant any spells. The hooded figure, as he flies away, thinks he was right to keep his face hidden. He muses that since he just reincarnated, he doesn't want to stand out, but then feels annoyed that the officer was almost killed by such a low-level monster. He observes that even the police magician's magic levels have dropped a lot, confirming that people in this time period cannot defeat monsters. He concludes that it is not just the students but the police too. The magicians in this era have definitely gotten weaker. A small close-up on the figure's face shows a slight, knowing smile as he realizes something. He thinks to himself that it looks like even in this time period, they need his powers. His glowing magic circles are shown again as he prepares for his next action. The figure decides that he should annihilate all the surrounding monsters for now before flying off. The scene fades out over the dark, ruined cityscape under the night sky. The teacher announced that today everyone will measure their magic power using that big crystal machine. He told the students to make sure they get both their amount and their attribute measured, as these are the most important things if they want to become professional magicians. Kusanagi looked at the device and thought he couldn't measure his power with just that thing. He wondered how the students and even the teachers did not know about something as basic as magic perception, which is the foundation of magic. Just then, Mizuha Yuika, a girl with blue hair, asked Kusanagi if now would be a good time to talk. Another student noticed that Mizuha-san and Kusanagi were actually speaking to each other, which seemed like a big deal to them. For Mizuha, being called out by Kusanagi was a first, as this was the first time they had ever spoken. Mizuha introduced herself as the second daughter from the magic noble house of Mizuha, but Kusanagi looked completely clueless and asked what a magic noble was. Mizuha was shocked that Kusanagi did not know, explaining that they were from one of the leading 4 noble houses who are the heads of magicians. Kusanagi, however, replied that nothing like that existed back in his time, and he had never even heard of the Mizuha family. In his mind, Kusanagi judged that her magic power was not great even for a family of prominent magicians. Mizuha became visibly upset, thinking, what's with this dude? After she generously started a conversation with him, she felt he should be more grateful, especially when another student nearby was bragging about something. This other student got angry, seeing Kusanagi talking with Yuka, and called him a prick. Kusanagi, unfazed, just asked what business the magic nobility had with him, which further annoyed Mizuha. Mizuha thought to herself that the more he talked, the more he pissed her off, but she quickly told herself to calm down and take deep breaths. She reminded herself, you're a noble woman, think of your dignity, while Kusanagi internally questioned what was wrong with her. He recalled that Kusanagi-kun was unharmed after getting hit by magic yesterday. Mizuha thought there must be a reason why he was unharmed and tried to bring up yesterday's event again. Suddenly, the teacher called out to the students in the back, telling them to get ready because it was time to get measured. Kusanagi cheerfully exclaimed that his mighty self was up next, while Mizuha seemed to watch him with interest. Mizuha thought to herself, oh well, I'll see his true power after his assessment, with a slight smile. Tadano-jun stepped up, glowing with red, fiery magic, proclaiming his might as he prepared for the measurement. He sent his fire magic toward the measuring crystal, causing a bright, intense reaction. The device announced that Tadano-jun's magic power was 1000 and his attribute was fire. Tadano was very happy with the result, thinking it was great and better than before. Kusanagi, watching, reasoned that if this score was 1000, the measuring standard hadn't changed in 50 years. The teacher then called for the next person, Mizuha Yuka. Mizuha Yuka stepped forward, glowing with blue energy, ready for her measurement. She placed her hand on the crystal, releasing a burst of blue, watery magic energy. The result came in, Mizuha Yuka, magic power 2000. Her attribute was water, and the onlookers let out an amazed shout. Tadano-jun, seeing the high score, told both of them that their magic powers were at the top level this year and that both would make fantastic magicians. Mizuha looked slightly unimpressed by Tadano's praise, while others expressed awe at her score. Some students were amazed by Mizuha-sama's score, but Kusanagi inwardly thought, surely this is a joke. He was shocked that she was at the top with 2000, thinking she was not much better than an amateur. Mizuha then smugly asked Kusanagi how he felt, boasting that this was the true power of House Mizuha. Seeing his reaction, she asked why he looked so displeased and told him not to look at her that way, while Kusanagi found her arrogance unbearable. The teacher then called out, next Kusanagi Minato, and a thought bubble wondered if Kusanagi-kun was ranked at the bottom last year. While some people commented that he was impressive at studying but lacked magic talent, Tadano loudly insulted Kusanagi, calling him a retard who would embarrass Yuka. Yuka then told Kusanagi, well, he won't beat me, that's for sure, showing her confidence while Kusanagi just stood there. Kusanagi thought, what can I do, recalling that he used to stand out too much back in the day, which was a pain. He debated whether to hold back a bit, but then decided against it with a firm nah. As Kusanagi stepped forward, Mizuha and Tadano watched him closely. His hand reached out toward the crystal, surrounded by immensely powerful, colorful energy. The power was so strong that it seemed to push back against the air itself. Kusanagi unleashed his full power, radiating dazzling, multicolored energy that filled the room. The immense power hit the measuring device with incredible force. Kusanagi mentally stated, I'll give it my all, ready to show his true strength. He thought, if this can measure the power of a great sage, then go ahead, I say. The purple energy blasts indicated the immense force hitting the machine. The crystal was bombarded with power, causing extreme visual distortion around the students. The light was so intense it showed a brief image of a grand castle in the background, symbolizing overwhelming magic. Mizuha, who was leaning on a desk, looked up suddenly, startled. Tadano, who had been lying back on a desk, snapped awake, exclaiming, what's going on? Mizuha looked utterly shocked by the unbelievable display of power. The measuring device's clocks started spinning wildly as the crystal began to crack under the pressure. The magical energy surged upward in bright beams. The energy display filled the frame, dwarfing the distant castle image. The explosion of rainbow-colored energy continued to grow brighter and more chaotic. A violent red flash suggested the machine was failing under the intense heat or force coming from Kusanagi. The energy blast continued to expand outwards. Mizuho was swept back by the magical shockwave, letting out a small cry. Other students were thrown backward by the force, covering their faces in shock as the energy continued to erupt. Kusanagi looked down, realizing, to think it broke after I got just a little serious. He stood calmly amidst the chaos, observing. He thought that nobody there could sense his real magic power. The room was filled with smoke and debris, and Kusanagi wondered if the other students were really capable of becoming magicians. The teacher rushed over, asking if anyone was hurt, especially checking on the students who looked shaken. The teacher checked on Kusanagi too, who simply replied, "Ooh, I guess," saying he was lucky to be in the middle of the explosion. The teacher was completely stunned, stating that it was the first time he had ever seen a measuring device get destroyed. He wondered if the device was defective, but then realized, but this isn't good, because now they wouldn't know Kusanagi's magic power or attribute. Kusanagi asked if that was bad, and the teacher explained they split students into groups for combat class, which was supposed to be decided based on their results. Since the measurement failed, the teacher spotted Tadano and asked if he could take Kusanagi into his group. Tadano and his friends, including one with long blonde hair, looked on with confident or scheming expressions. Tadano immediately agreed to the teacher's request, saying, "Of course, sir," with a huge grin. The teacher looked relieved and said, "Great. If it's you, I can rest assured." Tadano leaned in close to Kusanagi with a challenging look, saying, "I'm looking forward to it." The story opens in Old Shibuya, a place that looks quite worn down. It is mentioned that even after the Great Calamity, monsters still live in these destroyed areas. Now, the current Shibuya is empty, and every now and then magicians and police come to clear out the monsters. A teacher is with a group of students in their uniforms, explaining that Academy's students also need to help with these monster subjugations. The teacher reassures them that since the professional magicians have already taken out most of the monsters, they do not have to worry too much. But the main character thinks to himself that he did not expect to have a practical class like this. He thinks that since the other students will be working in groups, they should manage to take out a few monsters easily. The main character recalls being there the night before and being sure that he already cleared out all the monsters in the area. He feels that something is weird because even though he thought he defeated everything, he can still sense some monsters remaining. Looking around, he sees 2 monsters and he notices there are no immediate signs of any disaster happening nearby. This makes him wonder why monsters are suddenly reappearing there. Meanwhile, some other students excitedly suggest they should compete. The main character observes that even during this practical class, some students are acting too relaxed, which he finds annoying. The girl with blue hair looks on with a serious expression. The instructor tells the students that the practical class starts now and reminds them to work as a team. As the instructor steps forward, one student is loudly told to get out of the way. This student is then violently hit by some sort of sharp, blue energy attack and knocked against a wall. A group of 3 smug-looking bullies approaches, led by the one with red hair. The red-haired bully tells the victim to stay put and not get in their way, warning him not to push his luck. He declares he won't go easy on the victim this time, suggesting that if the victim dislikes him, he should just ignore him. The bully then screams at the victim, calling him trash from the bottom of the barrel. The bully then angrily asks why Mizuha is so interested in that person. The main character just looks confused by the sudden outburst. The smug bully then cheerfully suggests that perhaps the victim likes Mizuha. This hits a nerve, and the red-haired bully becomes intensely enraged. As the red-haired bully prepares a massive fiery attack, the main character watches him with a calm look. The bully unleashes a huge explosion, shouting that the other is a bastard. His friends are shocked and yell for him to stop, but the red-haired guy roars, "You're dead." The main character calmly tells the bully, "Don't do it," as he raises a glowing magic circle behind him. The bully ignores the warning and dismisses it as a childish trick, telling the main character to look behind him. The red-haired bully looks back, confused by the command to look behind him. Suddenly, a gigantic, terrifying demon soldier covered in purple aura appears behind the bullies, terrifying them. The red-haired bully is frozen in place as the massive demon towers over them. The 3 bullies are absolutely shocked, exclaiming, "No way." The demon soldier itself seems confused too, exclaiming, "What? What?" The huge creature seems to be shaking the very ground as it looms over the group. The bullies then scream, asking why a demon soldier is even present there. The group starts pleading with someone named Ju-chan, saying that if it is him, he can win against the demon soldier. The red-haired bully, trying to save face, yells to the demon soldier to eat this, UF***K. while channeling fire magic in a circle. The fire spell is unleashed with great force. The powerful magic slams into the area where the demon soldier was. The three bullies celebrate their apparent success, saying job done and praising Juchan. However, the demon soldier is still there, unfazed, with ominous purple energy swirling around it. The red-haired bully realizes with horror, not even a scratch. He then states in disbelief that a demon soldier cannot be defeated by the victim's level 1 magic. The demon soldier advances quickly, causing the bullies to panic and get thrown back by the force. The two friends try to hold on to the red-haired guy as he stumbles backward, completely terrified. They are all engulfed in the demon's ominous purple aura, realizing they are in huge trouble. The red-haired bully starts crying, realizing his fate. He screams out loud, "I am gonna die here," as the demon closes in. The demon's massive shape looms over the fallen students. The demon soldier is about to strike the red-haired student, but the main character steps in front of him. The demon soldier's face is shown, looking menacingly close. Giant claw reaches down, but the main character stands calmly, looking ready for the confrontation. The main character gives a composed look, standing between the monster and the cowering bullies. Intense purple energy swirls around the demon soldier as it prepares to attack. The powerful monster glares down, ready to strike. Demon soldier flies up, and the bullies wash from the ground, realizing that even a demon soldier can tell the main character's power is immense. The main character stands tall, while the bullies look up at him with awe and fear. The demon soldier seems to challenge the main character, asking which of them is stronger. The demon soldier shows its powerful face, radiating purple energy. Suddenly, the main character unleashes his own incredibly powerful blue energy, shocking everyone. The demon soldier recoils from the surge of blue power emanating from the main character. The demon soldier screams out in pain as bright, fiery circles of magic surround it. A dark slab with glowing red writing appears in the center of the magical circles, aimed at the demon. Demon soldier is clearly struggling under the immense pressure of the attack. The main character calmly presents a bright red magic circle with his hand extended toward the monster. The bullies are crying, saying the main character cannot defeat that thing with level 1 magic, fearing they are all going to die. The level 2 magic, Rock Break, is unleashed in a massive fiery explosion against the purple demon soldier. The explosion is huge and violent, tearing apart the surroundings. The blast is so intense that the level 1 magic user is shown caught in the aftershock near the ground. The main character smirks slightly as the massive attack connects. The scene shows the aftermath of the attack with a level 1 spell called Fire Arrow causing massive destruction. The massive ball of fire hits something, and the small demon soldier is seen reacting to the impact. The sheer power of the explosion is overwhelming. The impact continues to rage with powerful sound effects. The explosion culminates in a massive fiery burst, disintegrating the demon soldier's form. The demon soldier is completely engulfed in blinding, yellow-red light. More intense visual effects show the destruction. The explosion reaches its peak, consuming the screen in fire. The main character stands firm amidst the fading light, while the other students are blown away by the shockwave, looking terrified. The other students are reeling from the force of the blast. From a distance, the main character stands alone while the others are recovering on the ground. The red-haired bully is completely stunned by the massive explosion, asking, "What the fuck just happened?" He then asks in disbelief if Kusanagi just killed that demon soldier. Another student cries out that it is impossible, questioning how someone like Kusanagi could achieve such a feat. The main character states that if it was his level 1 magic, it could kill a demon soldier, implying his magic is far beyond level 1. He notes that it is strange for a demon soldier to appear in Shibuya in the first place. He thinks about the crystal left behind and mentions that the fact monsters reappeared after he killed them all yesterday is also weird, wondering if it is a bad omen before another disaster. He wonders if the situation is more serious than he first thought, looking down at the vanquished enemy. A quick flash shows larger, more monstrous beings in a fiery backdrop, hinting at bigger threats. One of the adults, possibly a teacher, is seen looking back with a determined expression amidst the destruction. The main character clenches his fist, his gaze sharp and serious. He resolves that even if another calamity happens again, he will save everyone. He makes a silent promise to protect everyone, no matter what. The red-haired bully, finally gathering himself, asks if Kusanagi really defeated the demon soldier, wondering if he is still the Kusanagi they knew. The red-haired bully, perhaps in frustration or disbelief, slams his hand against a large stone structure, cracking it. He is clearly shaken and struggling to process what he just witnessed. The blue-haired girl looks on with a worried and slightly shocked expression as the other students huddle together in fear. Someone used a powerful level 1 magic called Aqua Saucer against a monster. A girl with blue hair, Mizuha, is seen creating a swirling water magic barrier, easily blocking the attack from the beast. Two students standing nearby were very impressed, exclaiming how amazing Mizuha was. This level of display clearly surprised them a lot. Mizuha, however, thought that ordinary people were a bit boring. She smirked, thinking that it couldn't be helped since she was a genius. Then, she said she would leave the rest to them. Meanwhile, in another part of the alley, a group of students surrounded one boy who looked like he was getting bullied. Mizuha noticed the situation and, with a determined look, decided she couldn't just ignore it. She made a gesture toward the onlookers who were busy looking at her previous magic display, and then walked away from them. Peeking around a corner, Mizuha thought to herself that the boy seemed to be getting bullied, and she couldn't miss seeing this. Her expression shifted to one of shock as she watched what was happening further down the alley. Her eyes widened in surprise as she saw something major unfolding. She gasped, seeing a demon soldier appear, and was very scared. Mizuha worried that the bullied students couldn't handle a demon soldier. She clenched her fist, thinking she absolutely needed to help them. Feeling a rush of responsibility as a member of the Mizuha family, she prepared to rush in. She tried to shout a warning, telling everyone to run, but paused mid-sentence. Suddenly, a huge red energy blast erupted from the area where the students and the demon were. Mizuha was caught in the intense light and heat from the magical explosion. More sound effects showed the massive power of the attack that just went off. She let out a small sound of pain or surprise as the fiery magic washed over the scene. The ground was scorched and covered in glowing embers after the powerful burst. Then, the focus shifted to a boy with dark hair standing calmly amidst the aftermath, glowing slightly. He looked completely unfazed, holding his hand out as if he had just cast something big. Mizuha, peeking out, was completely stunned and asked what that was. She immediately wondered if it was Kusanagi's magic. She remembered that Kusanagi used to be very shy and had no talent for magic at all. Now, seeing him like this, it was as if he was a completely different person, as another student also seemed to realize this change. Mizuha realized she hadn't heard any magic incantation or chant. She wondered how magic could be cast without chanting. Furthermore, she was confused about how he managed to defeat a demon soldier using what she thought was only level 1 magic. The scene then showed an explanation that a demon's strength depends on the number of crystals it has. This crystal count also determined their ranking, starting with magical beasts at rank 6. A demon soldier was rank 5, clearly stronger than a magical beast. A demon captain was rank 4, and a demon general was rank 3, showing the hierarchy. Even higher up, a demon king was rank 2, shown as a massive dark silhouette. The illustration continued to show the terrifying scale of higher ranks in the dark. Finally, the demon god was rank 1, depicted as a huge, powerful, golden entity hovering over a serene figure. The eyes of this powerful entity glowed intensely, and the narration explained that the number of effective ranks for each demon is fixed. The scene switched back to the student who cast the spell, performing a dazzling display of magic, and the narration stated it was common sense for modern magicians. Mizuha, still hiding, was shocked, recalling that one needed at least level 3 magic to defeat a demon soldier, making his feat with level 1 magic impossible. She couldn't believe what she saw and started to move out from hiding, feeling startled. She immediately questioned why she was hiding when such an incredible event was happening. Kusanagi, the dark-haired boy, turned and told her that peeking around was a nice hobby to have. Mizuha was taken aback, wondering how he knew she was there, and asked him. He calmly replied that if she were a mage, it would be crazy not to notice something like that. Kusanagi then looked down, seemingly focused on something else. Mizuha, looking serious, asked him if the others really couldn't sense any magic happening. Kusanagi just stayed quiet, looking ahead. Mizuha suddenly exclaimed, "Wait a minute!" She stepped out fully, demanding an explanation for what just happened. Mizuha looked incredibly confused and distressed by the situation. He looked over the edge of their hiding spot towards Kusanagi standing below. From her low vantage point, Kusanagi looked huge as he stood on some rubble, with Mizuha looking tiny far below. Kusanagi just sighed and said, "Good grief." He then stated that he would check the area around Shibuya Station just in case. Using some kind of vision or scan, Kusanagi confirmed that there were no demon soldiers left, but many magical beasts remained. He thought about how even Tadano, a supposed excellent student, acted poorly before, implying the other students would struggle against these remaining beasts. Kusanagi considered reducing the number of magical beasts so the other students wouldn't have such a hard time. He decided that maybe he should eliminate some of the beasts, and a yellow aura of power began to surround him. He mentioned that his range covered the area around Shibuya Station and prepared to use a level 2 magic Barret. A massive ring of golden magic appeared, charging up with intense energy. Kusanagi focused his power, preparing to unleash the massive spell. The golden magic surged outward as he stated he was using level 2 magic Barret. Intense beams of golden light shot out from his position, causing huge impact sounds. The beams streaked across the cityscape, hitting their targets with overwhelming force. More impact sounds indicated the rapid succession of strikes across the area. The beams of light were shown hitting the buildings in the background, showing the wide scope of the attack. The students who were watching the earlier fight were completely shocked by this new display, exclaiming, "What? What is that?" And one called it shooting stars. Mizuha, witnessing this, was amazed and shouted, "Is that magic?" She then wondered if he possessed multiple magic abilities. She was overwhelmed by the sheer quantity of the attack, shouting, "The quantity! It's too much!" The scene showed several magical beasts falling or being overwhelmed by the attack, and one of the students who were being bullied said, "I can't take this anymore." One of the beasts cried out as it was hit hard by the golden magic. The beast seemed confused for a moment as it was struck. The pink-haired girl, one of the victims, looked up in terror as a beast loomed over her. Kusanagi's attack hit the monster attacking the girl, accompanied by a sound effect. The girl was shielded or knocked away by the force of Kusanagi's magic, looking shocked. The other male student rushed over to the girl, asking if she was okay. The defeated magical beasts lay scattered on the ground, dissipating into smoke near the students. Kusanagi, watching the results from above, felt satisfied, saying, "Good, good," and thinking, "Feels good to kill them all." More golden streaks showed the final hits landing on the remaining creatures. A close-up on Kusanagi showed his expression shift slightly as he processed what he did. He started to wonder to himself, "Did I?" He looked slightly concerned as the aftermath of his powerful attack cleared. The remaining bodies of the magical beasts were clearly destroyed on the ground. Mizuha looked down at the destruction and wondered if she had just gone too far in her assessment, thinking, "Overdo it." As the realization hit him, Kusanagi thought, "I ended up killing most of them." He scratched his head nervously, looking quite flustered by the thought of the sheer number of beasts he annihilated. Kusanagi worried that because he was so thorough, the class training or activity would not be able to proceed now, regretting that he really needed to hold himself back. A figure flies up high into the sky above some ruined buildings, leaving a glowing magic circle behind. The person who flew off seems to be thinking that things should be okay now, looking serious. Down below, another student lands softly in an alley, protected by a glowing green magic circle as he lands. The main character, having landed safely, ponders that he doesn't need to hide his power too much, but standing out is still annoying. Meanwhile, a group of students and a man in a suit look at the aftermath of the fight, where a magical beast lies defeated. The man in the suit kneels down to examine the slain beast while the students look worriedly on. One student asks how so many magical beasts were still around, and the man in the suit apologizes, saying he was told the police cleared most of them. The man in the suit explains that all those beasts were killed with just one strike, showing that someone very skilled was involved. He then wonders if the magic used was null attribute magic, looking at the scorched ground. The man continues, saying that firing countless magic bullets of null attribute magic is something he has never seen before. He admits that without this powerful magic, things could have been very troublesome, noting that while firing 2 bullets is nothing, a number above 6 is significant. The man concludes that this powerful act was probably not the work of a mere student as he addresses the worried students. A student shouts in confusion, asking why there were so many magical beasts present when they thought the area was safe. He explains that they all nearly died, leading the man in the suit to apologize again. The man bows slightly, explaining that he was informed the police had already cleared the main pack of beasts. He feels he should have double-checked with the school side and sincerely apologizes for putting them all in danger. The students look concerned as the pink-haired girl wonders aloud if someone came to save them. The man in the suit replies that he doesn't know, and the girl accepts his answer while the man expresses gratitude to the unknown savior. He believes the rescuer was likely neither the police nor an official mage. Instead, he suspects the helper might have been an illegal magician. The man emphasizes that it's true the stranger saved them all, and the students happily say thank you to the Mr. Stranger Magician. The main character is shown looking composed after the situation seems to have calmed down. Elsewhere, a different group of students looks up at the clear sky. One girl asks if the others saw that magic, while another wonders what that magic was. The main character, unseen by them, observes that everyone seems fine now. One student, with fierce red eyes, notices a group of other students approaching. The red-eyed student observes that even those other guys are present, implying they are antagonists or rivals. A blue-haired girl recalls that the main character defeated a demon soldier using only level 1 magic. She then wonders if the powerful null attribute magic they just witnessed was also done by him. She states that the magic involved fire attribute and null attribute magic, which is impossible for a student to use 2 attributes. She insists that not even that guy could use 2 magic attributes. She shakes off the thought, deciding she is overthinking it, reaffirming that the null attribute user must be a different person. However, she admits it is a fact that someone beat a demon soldier and then focuses on the main character, Kusanagi. She confronts Kusanagi directly, asking him, "What are you?" recalling the laser-like attacks. Kusanagi remains stoic as the confrontation continues. One of the male students mentions those laser things and says that was also Kusanagi's doing. The red-haired student gets angry, refusing to believe that Kusanagi, whom he calls a small fry, could be that strong, and shouts "Oi." The red-haired student yells "Shut up" with intense rage. He then screams "I will kill you," startling the other students nearby. He continues his outburst, loudly proclaiming there is no way that small fry is strong. Another student comments that something fishy is going on, and the blue-haired boy agrees it is weird, recalling Kusanagi was once a coward. The red-haired student accuses Kusanagi of cheating in some way. He screams in anger, asking how Kusanagi dared to make a fool out of him and vows to make him reveal his true character. He promises to expose Kusanagi after school. The scene shifts to a bright, sunny day with some residential buildings in the background. The main character, Kusanagi, stands alone on the street, waiting. The group of antagonistic students, led by the red-haired one, surrounds Kusanagi menacingly. The red-haired student and his friends move in to attack Kusanagi. The red-haired leader grins wickedly and says they were waiting for him. Kusanagi calmly replies that they are so persistent and suggests that studying magic would be a better use of their time. The red-haired student explodes, calling Kusanagi a fucking cheat. Kusanagi simply asks, "Cheat?" The angry student tells him to stop playing dumb. He insists there is no way Kusanagi can use that kind of magic and accuses him of using some dirty trick. Kusanagi looks unfazed by the accusations. He silently thinks to himself that these people cannot be reasoned with. The red-haired bully then tells Kusanagi to come with me, while Kusanagi waits. The bully then says he will give Kusanagi props for not running away. Kusanagi calmly responds that there is no need for him to run away. The red-haired student snaps back, telling him to stop spouting bullshit. He challenges Kusanagi, saying he can't use magic here, implying Kusanagi is useless without it. The bully lunges forward to attack Kusanagi physically. Kusanagi is hit, but he doesn't flinch as the attack lands on his upper body. The whole group piles on, punching and kicking Kusanagi simultaneously. The red-haired student yells at his friends, asking what happened, and then furiously demands to know why Kusanagi can't do anything without his magic. He screams that he will not forgive him even if he begs and tells Kusanagi to die. Kusanagi internally notes that even being hit like this isn't even scratching him. He thinks that his magical powers automatically defend him. He continues that even if they hit him, it won't have any effect. Kusanagi finds the situation annoying and thinks he should just pretend to get hit. The attackers are shocked as Kusanagi remains standing, and the red-haired bully shouts, "What are you doing?" The blue-haired girl watches the scene unfold with a stern expression. She looks directly at the red-haired boy and calls out "You," and then "Yuika." The red-haired student, startled by the mention of a name, turns around with a shocked look, while the other students also look surprised. The scene starts with a group of students looking shocked as one of them calls out for Yuika. The red-haired student tries to play it off, saying they were just fooling around, but the tension is clear. Yuika confronts the group, accusing them of bullying Kusanagi-kun. She scolds them for being bullies when they are students of the Magic Academy and asks if they are not ashamed. The bullies react with shock and start backing away, saying "Ka." As they feel the pressure, the red-haired bully is clearly angry, blaming everything on Kusanagi, showing his intense frustration. He keeps muttering it's because of him that Yuika is now disgusted with me. Before Yuika grabs Kusanagi and tells him they need to leave. As Yuika tries to pull Kusanagi away, the red-haired bully stops them, showing extreme distress as Kusanagi's hands touch Yuika's. The bully's face shows immense anger and jealousy as he glares, sensing a threat or connection between Kusanagi and Yuika. A wave of dark energy surrounds the angry bully, who repeatedly curses Kusanagi's name in his rage. The bully's friends look on nervously as he yells, "Damn you, Kusanagi, ready to attack. Kusanagi, looking calm, simply observes the situation while one of the others murmurs, "Oh God." The lead bully calls Kusanagi a bastard and threatens to kill him. The red-haired bully and his group prepare their magic circles, getting ready to unleash a powerful attack on Kusanagi. Yuika is surprised and shouts at Tadano-kun, asking what he is doing as the magic builds up. The bullies launch a massive, fiery magic attack, shouting that this time Kusanagi will die. Kusanagi and Yuika watch the incoming blast, and Yuika cries out that it is dangerous. The powerful magic impact is shown with a huge red flash. Yuika screams as she is caught in the blast and flung away. The red-haired bully laughs triumphantly, thinking he succeeded. He boasts that even cheating wouldn't help against the power they used. The other two bullies look worried, one asking if the person they attacked is dead, whispering, "Jesus, this looks bad." The main bully calls them idiots and asks if they are afraid, then starts explaining that they accidentally used magic outside of school and it got out of control. He tries to cover up the situation, saying Kusanagi just got caught in the middle of it. Then he realizes they went too far as the ground in front of them is completely ripped apart, showing a huge trench. Kusanagi steps out of the dust, looking resolved, stating that he has tolerated the bully, thinking he was just a brat. Kusanagi looks directly at them, saying that apparently stupidity can only be cured by death. A powerful aura surrounds Kusanagi as he declares it is time to discipline them, leaving Yuika terrified. Kusanagi approaches, and Yuika, seeing him standing, exclaims in surprise, "You're alive?" The red-haired bully is completely shocked that Kusanagi survived their massive magic attack. Yuika is sitting on the ground, looking stunned, as Kusanagi stands over the fallen bullies. Kusanagi thinks about how not only he but Yuika was dragged into this mess because of the bullies. He asks the bullies how rotten they are, and points out that both sides are at fault here. The red-haired bully screams, asking how dare Kusanagi make a fool out of him. The bullies gather their remaining strength for another desperate attack, shouting they will keep attacking until Kusanagi dies. Kusanagi remains unfazed, raising a single finger toward the sky, creating a small magic circle of light. He then touches the small magic circle, activating a different kind of spell. The bullies laugh, asking what kind of crappy magic circle Kusanagi is using, clearly underestimating him. Kusanagi silently declares, "This time you will die," as an overwhelming wave of energy rushes toward the attackers. Kusanagi identifies his counterspell as Magic Drain. Vines of bright green and yellow energy erupt from Kusanagi's hand, wrapping around the attackers. The green energy vines start to bind and squeeze the bullies tightly. The bullies are caught off guard by this new magic, shouting, "WH, what is this?" The bullies struggle, yelling at the vines to let go of them. They realize the green energy is draining their power, with one mumbling no strength left as another spits out a blee. The draining effect continues intensely, pulling the energy away from the struggling bullies. The green magic successfully neutralizes their power, and the red-haired bully collapses onto the ground, completely drained. Kusanagi explains that he only absorbed a little bit of their magic, and now they are all out of power. He sits comfortably over the defeated leader, Tadano, and asks if making them reflect a bit of their power should teach them a lesson. Yuika, witnessing this, is left speechless and confused, wondering what kind of magic that was. She asks what happened and why Tadano and his gang are now unconscious. Kusanagi ignores her questions and starts walking away, carrying his bag, prompting Yuika to call out, "Hey, wait a minute!" Yuika chases after him, demanding to know what that magic was. She continues to question him, pointing out that he shouldn't be able to use magic properly, and asks who he really is. Kusanagi, annoyed by her questioning, thinks to himself, "This is so annoying." He tells her that instead of asking so many questions, she should be saying something else. Yuika, blushing slightly, manages to say "I" and then thanks him for helping her. Kusanagi accepts her thanks with a simple "okay, then," and demands she answer his question about where he went. Yuika is left flustered, looking around the empty area where Kusanagi was just standing, crying out, "Where did he go now? Don't mind it." The scene shifts to nighttime, under a bright full moon, with Yuika still upset about Kusanagi disappearing. The setting transitions to a dark cityscape under the full moon, focusing on the old Shibuya area. The view shows dark, damaged buildings in the old Shibuya area. Something fast moves low to the ground in the darkness, making a swooshing sound. A figure in a dark hoodie is seen floating down from a building, surrounded by bright green magic circles. The hooded figure lands on a rooftop, observing the area, while another sound effect plays near him. The figure, revealed to be Kusanagi in his dark attire, says he came to check things out because he had a bad feeling. The other figure, who has blue hair, confirms he had killed all the monsters earlier, but now they are back, asking if this is a bad omen. Kusanagi states that if it were just Shibuya, he could handle it alone, but he senses monsters in other places too. He worries that this might be too much for the police, and even the magicians might not be enough, showing another person looking distressed by the situation. Kusanagi admits that he definitely cannot kill all the monsters in Japan by himself. He wonders what to do about the overall situation, deciding he needs a plan and to wipe out the monsters around their current location first. Under the bright moon, Kusanagi leaps down, planning to take care of the local monsters carefully so he doesn't stand out. He activates a bright yellow magic circle beneath his hand and prepares to cast a spell discreetly. Kusanagi lands, with green magic emanating from him and a circle under his feet, ready for battle against the creatures lurking nearby. The monsters, including a large, white-faced demon with red eyes, confront the green light. Meanwhile, a drunk man stumbles out onto the street under the moon, making incoherent noises. Drunk man is seen walking while clutching a bag, claiming to be drunk. The drunk man is running away in fear from a large, fearsome monster with blue hair and sharp teeth that appears to be chasing him. The monster's monstrous mouth opens wide, showing huge yellow fangs, focusing on the fleeing man. Kusanagi, unseen by the drunk man, swiftly moves above the monster, preparing a precise green energy strike. The drunk man looks up with confusion, muttering "HM," as he senses something unusual but doesn't see Kusanagi. He dismisses the feeling, thinking it must have been his imagination. Kusanagi lands on a ledge above the monster's head, confirming to himself that he didn't get caught while taking down the threat. The drunk man smiles contentedly, still unaware of the supernatural battle that just occurred around him. Kusanagi unleashes a powerful vertical beam of green light that pierces through the monster. Light shoots up into the night sky, and someone below watches the event through a smartphone screen, exclaiming, "Awesome, I got it all." A person with blonde hair and a red hoodie looks excited, filming the display, shouting that this is viral-worthy material. The screen shows the video being uploaded, capturing Kusanagi's powerful magic sequence.